welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and we are filming at a special time today, right before day 10 of Relative Race. And we've got, as you can see, our special guest. But before we get to our special guest, I want to welcome our panel. We've got Shelley Murphy, the family tree girl, is right here with us. Hi, Shelley. And we have Laura Hedgecock, treasure chest of memories, with us here. Hi, Laura.
Hi, everybody.
We have Dan Earl, our family history guy.
Hello.
Hey, Dan. And we've got Melissa Barker, who is our archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, everybody.
We've got Bernice Bennett from Genealogists. Hi, Bernice.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, we have, just the way she falls on my screen, Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Hi, Mary.
Hi, everybody. I
am so grateful that the panel was able to join me for this special recording because everybody look who we have. Straight off of day 9, we have Anthony and Joseph, Team Blue, Relative Race Season 7. Hi, guys. Thank you so much. We're so happy that you're here. When we when we made our announcement that we were going to do a special GenFriends and have you come on, I had so many people going, yay, yay, yay. And then I'd ask some people if they had questions. So I've got like 8 questions that came through from people that want us to ask you questions. So everybody just wants to know everything there is about you.
Yes, that's true.
Is that true? So before I do these questions, I'm going to open it up to the panelists and just say, hey, what do you want to ask? Within reason, people, within reason. Shelley.
The first thing I really would like to know is, how did you hear about relative race?
Okay, so that was kind of a situation that happened. I was on Facebook and I had found an article or like a local page. These group of women got together and made a page to help people who are adopted find their biological family.
Right.
And so I posted a photo of Joe and myself, our adopted family. I described the whole situation. And a few months after that, probably like 2.5, 3 months after that, I got a text from the producer. So
wow.
So they're monitoring that and saw you guys. That's wonderful.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. I know that they're really, past seasons have had other types, family people we're looking for, but I know that they are working, they just right now want people who are looking for their biological parents. And so I'm sure that's, you and your story, you guys' story is so good. And you're just, we watch you, we just want to go, oh, COVID or no COVID, we just want to help you along. One of the questions somebody asked was, they wanted to know how it felt driving because you guys don't drive a lot.
Ooh, you go ahead on that.
Was it a bit scary?
Yes. It was, for me being, the co-pilot and all that stuff, I can drive, but I haven't really driven a whole lot. But it was just, there were points in time when we were traveling about where I was just like, oh, Aunt, be careful, because we were kind of going into uncharted territory and literally uncharted territory. So
exactly.
It was, at times, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I think we had a chair. The chair incident. Well, we were driving and a chair falls off of the back of a truck. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was scary, but we were fine. There, we missed it. I swear that out of the way. His driving ability were on point. It was literally landed right in front of us. And oh my goodness! It was it just happened. It was just a reaction. I turned the wheel and it missed and it hit the tire. I was like, "Ooh, that could have been worse."
I wonder what the crew was thinking behind
me. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the only scare for us. So for the most part, it was good. It was really, really good.
Well, y'all work so well together. And I know we talked a couple of times, that if our boys had been doing that together, there'd been a lot more arguments than maybe there were, and they just didn't show those. But I felt like you worked well together.
Yeah, I did too. Good team.
Don't really argue a whole lot. We get in arguments, and when we do, they're heated. But then we always just come around and are like, okay, you know, I could have worded that better, or I could have said something different, you know, and we apologize and we just forgive each other, because there's no, you know, Joe and I have always agreed there's no point in holding grudges, you know, and it just leads to you holding a chip on your shoulder and being bitter. And like for me and Joe, like we've learned that the best way to, you know, just be at peace with one another is just to work those things out, you know, and
I love that.
come back to each other and just be like, okay, let's try this again, you know.
That's I love that. I wasn't sure if it's because you were twins, or because I've got twin granddaughters, and they're two, and one was standing on the other's back the other day trying to get to something. So I was like, I didn't know if maybe it was a twin connection, but I think everybody watching really felt that bond and how you wanted so badly to work together. All right, who's got a question? Bernice has got a question. I'm sorry, go ahead. Laura, you're next.
Out of all of the challenges, tell me which of the challenges did you dislike the most and which did you really like?
That's a tough one.
You're only going to have to come up with answers to these, because you know everybody's going to ask you the same questions that we're asking you, because we all just want to know.
So I'd say for me, the one I disliked the most was I would have to say, basketball was absolutely terrible. Like, I really, that was very hard. It dawned on me when that challenge was going on how hard it was going to be, and like we did a good job, and it was amazing, but it still didn't take away from the fact that it was hard, and you know, when you miss it, you got to go get the ball.
Oh yeah.
And so that for me was probably my least favorite one. I'd say the best one that I thought that was really good was, I would say, the fishbowl challenge.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So people are going crazy over that, saying it wasn't fair to you guys and all that. But here it is, your favorite. So
yes, it's my favorite because it was the hardest one, but it was super rewarding, because when I got done and it was hot outside when I got done and the water was everywhere, I was soaked. It just felt amazing afterwards. And like from that point, and then meeting our mom, it was like, oh my God, this is my favorite challenge. Like I don't even care that it's hard. Like I'll always remember that day trailing into meeting my mom. So yeah. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I would say for me, my least favorite challenge, probably, I'm gonna have to go with you on this one. My least favorite one was probably the what was the one where we did the one with the day 9 challenge with the
the one that your brother seems to like a lot.
yeah. For that, for me, was actually my least favorite, and not necessarily because it was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult, but it was also difficult because it was also not my most favorite, just because I had, with the challenge of having the flippers, and then on top of it being blinded, and then having the flippers and being blinded. So that to me, it was hard, and my brother and I got through it, but I knew that that it was going to take longer than we had anticipated, and of course I had I don't know, I just felt like it could have went a lot smoother for us.
Say it was terrible.
So yeah, on my end it was hard, and so I'll have to note that one down as my least favorite. But I would say probably my favorite is the one that Anthony and I laughed at the most off camera, and that was the where we had dressed up as different
that was hysterical.
Yeah, that was funny.
And
Yeah.
it was fun watching you guys laugh at each other too. That was really, really fun watching you dress up. Laura, you had a question, and then Mary.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to know is how did you just have those few minutes that we saw to get to know the other teams? How were you interacting with the other teams and figuring out more about their stories, etc.?
Yeah, for the most part, ever since the beginning of when the season started, even a little bit before, because of COVID, we weren't really allowed to, kind of mingle and talk and discuss things. So we had set up a WhatsApp group, and we have been consistently texting and conversating and encouraging one another and just giving each other feedback and just checking in and seeing how things are going and just straight up having conversation,
That's
So with the whole added issue of COVID, we've kind of just accommodated that issue with the WhatsApp, and we've also gotten the opportunity to see the other teams during the interview processes, some of them, and we've gotten to meet them several times in real life as well. So
Oh, that's good. I'm glad.
Oh, that is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you now living in Florida?
Currently we are waiting.
we're in the
process.
Yeah.
We have some things together, but we can't
Yeah.
really say too
Say a
much.
whole bunch.
Alrighty.
We're hoping.
We get ya. We get ya.
Okay. Do you want to mention your GoFundMe then?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we'll put a link on because I do show notes, so we'll put a link on it so people can get to it.
Yeah, we that is definitely was something that Joe and I really appreciate, from everybody watching and viewing this, and we're just so elated and happy and thankful that everybody is, helping out and doing what they can, and Joe and I just be on the moon and back. For all of you guys, everybody watching.
It's just interesting how relative race just becomes this family, it just and it's not just the team members, it's everybody that works on the show, the fans, everybody just becomes this big family, and everybody just strives to support and help each other. So that's just wonderful. So we want pictures. I hope once you get to Florida, I hope you put on social media all the pictures and all that kind of stuff, because you're going to get there. I know you will. So Mary, what was your question? Oh, you're muted, hon.
Sorry, there's background noise. If America did not love you before, they loved you when you guys took your cousin's phone to get fixed, and you took part of your day, your time to do that, and that just was just such incredible, generous spirit. I mean, that's probably my favorite moment, I have to say, at least in the competition part. So was she able to get her pictures back? Did it get fixed?
Yep. She was able to look at all of those videos, and it was so sweet because she called us back and she's like, oh my gosh, she was like a wreck and looking through all the videos, and I was just, I was elated because that was the first time that she was able to hear her mom's voice in like 6 years. So
wow,
that's beautiful. Wow. Okay, I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, great question.
So you saw those reactions, right? Can you imagine the whole 8 weeks, 9 weeks of reactions and the Kleenex box
9
and
weeks.
everything?
And then everybody getting so upset on day 9 when you guys got that strike. It was like, the whole relative race nation went, no, yeah. Oh,
definitely.
That was tough, but you got to meet all of your relatives, and this, I think this is only the second season of Relative Race where all the teams went through day 9 and got to meet all the relatives. So it was a very blessed season that you were able to do that. You were able to meet your brother, which I thought was so special. What a wonderful, wonderful reunion that was. Have you been able to meet any other of your siblings since Relative Race, or do you have to wait till to move?
Yeah, we've been doing our best to keep in contact with them. We're still waiting on just some confirmation from other family members about what they want to do in terms of the move. But yeah, we've been in contact with our cousins almost on a daily basis. It's just really opened up a whole new world for us in terms of just that family connection that we never really had and had missed out on from a majority of our lives. So it's just, it's a whole new feeling for us, and just being able to, you know, call up your cousin or call up your brother and say, hey, how's the day going? And how's everything going? And so, yeah, it's been beautiful. Yeah.
All right.
That's awesome.
What else you got?
Laura?
That question reminded me. So your brother, I think Daniel is his name, or is his name.
Yeah.
He seems so wonderful. Is he as wonderful as he seemed on TV?
Now remember, he might see this, so.
I'm telling.
He's a really genuine and sincere guy. He works really hard, and I could tell he's on the right track. And I love him, man. Like the minute I seen him, the minute Joe seen him, we love him. Like
Wow.
He's family. So,
Yeah, he is.
So.
And did he prepare you for meeting your mom?
Yeah, I would say in a way, because he's so much like her. There's a lot of similarities between him and her. And, you know, when Joe and I first met him, we agreed afterwards, after we had met Daniel, we had agreed on like, yeah, like kind of like if we're really close to our mom, like I can feel that, because he's just the way his mannerisms, just based on what Auntie Bobby has told us and what we've heard, what we've heard from cousins, all that stuff. So based on that information, we just figured like, man, he's like our mom. So, and we were right.
Very cool. Very cool.
I thought your aunt was special, though.
Oh, yeah.
He is.
Very
Yeah.
special. Bernice, I see in the chat that you've got a question. Another question?
I want to know what's in your future, Anthony and Joseph, as far as jobs, careers. What do you want to do now that you are a celebrity?
Yeah. I have pretty big plans. I have a music career that I want to pursue, just in writing music, just because I grew up throughout my middle school, high school, college years. I got a taste for writing music and different things like that, and creating it and composing and stuff. So looking at the future for me is I want to hone in on that and work on that, so that I can get to a place where I can compose my own stuff and you know, write my own music and hopefully sing one day. So yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do. Once I get a stable job and, you know, and work at that as well. But like I always tell people, and I always tell my brother here, just one day at a time. You know, I try not to think about like too far in ahead, but just take one day as it comes, you know. So
Fabulous.
and I think for me, I was gonna go back to school, and I was thinking about that, and I really want to get into acting. I'm not sure where to start that, but I've always wanted to do it. Joe and I did show choir like when we were in middle school together, and Joe did it more than me, and then it was kind of our like rule that since I was doing basketball, I couldn't go to show choir because that was Joe's thing. But in the back of my mind, I really wanted to do it. Yeah, so I'm preparing for that mentally, and then, you know, I'm just making sure that I'm in the right place mentally, not mentally, but in the right place financially, you know, in the right place, stable physically
Mhm.
stable, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, just pursue that. And I really I want to see what I have to offer, you know? So
Well, we can see from watching you, you've got a lot to offer. So I wish you lots of luck. I know that you're gonna, whatever you put your mind to doing, you're gonna be able to do it. I've got lots, I think all of us have lots of faith in you. So, Melissa, you said you had a comment?
I wanted to tell them both that you have been a real inspiration to me, especially you, Joseph, because I have a 19-year-old niece who has cerebral palsy. She is confined to a wheelchair. She has been her whole life. She's in her first year of college, and she wants to be a motivational speaker.
wow.
And so, you know, watching you and knowing her, that, you know, she inspires me because she never is in a bad mood. She is always putting out hope to those of us who are able-bodied, you know, and so she's my hero. And so I just want to thank you for putting yourself out there too, because I know that you have probably touched a lot of lives like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's true.
Absolutely. That was, nobody could have said it better. That was great, Melissa. Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a question. Has there ever been any thought in following up with what Melissa said and also what you said, Anthony, of you working with children similar to your backgrounds growing up? Have you ever thought about, and this is another career thought, to work with children that you know because you've been through this per se, you know, growing up and etc. Is there a chance that you would consider anything like that?
I would say yes. I had originally gone to school before the show and everything. I had about 90-something credits. I was going to school for applied behavioral analysis, working with children with autism. And so, yeah, I would definitely think about that. And that's kind of why, you know, I have this thing where I'm thinking about the acting thing, but then I'm looking at where my experiences is. So yeah, I would consider that.
You just
and I think
see
of
what
that
doors open to you.
because
we're getting some background from somebody, from somewhere.
Yeah, no one here but me. Mom's in another room. But because there's so many people that need your sound, your voice, and your experience, and especially kids, you know, especially younger than you, that's able to have someone to talk to, someone that might have similar things that have happened to them, you know, not just being adopted, but just a whole life experience. So yeah, that would be interesting if you did. So, and I had one other question.
I was going to say, Shelley, you've got a question in the chat room. Why don't you ask it? Okay, in the chat, I should say that.
Think about the 9 weeks. If there was one thing that you had a chance to change or do differently, what would it have been?
Good question.
That's that teacher hat that just went on. One on the career, another. Yeah.
I could do different. In the whole 9 weeks. Oh, I know. If I could do different. Well, I'm thinking out loud, but that's probably.
It's just us, don't worry.
Yeah, they just only go out to a few million people, that's all.
Oh, we wish we had that kind of.
I really wish a few million people would watch us. But they will, because look who's on.
We'll be pushing this out on our Twitter feeds. I'm good for a couple thousand myself. You know, come on, Melissa, you got a couple thousand out there too. You know how to deliver. Yes. So we just bought you some more time to respond.
I see that. So I would have to say, one thing I would have changed,
I kind of, looking back, I kind of wish that Anthony and I had asked around for directions a little bit more.
Oh,
Okay.
You know, because considering how the other teams, you know, had did that several times
mm-hmm.
throughout the different stages, and I noticed that Anthony and I didn't ask at all, and it sort of
Mhm.
it's just kind of one of those things that sort of I slipped my mind. I didn't realize it was an option, and so yeah, I think if we were to ask, maybe we would have had an easier time with some of those challenges.
Oh, that's a
but
good thought.
I agree, because honestly, and you know, the two times like we may have asked, like one time we asked and I
The
think this-
Baptist church.
yeah. Oh, it's funny you said that. It's funny you said that because the very I think it was at that spot that this happened. It was in where was it? It was right next to the Baptist church. Yes. Okay, it was about a block or two from a Baptist church. Let me tell y'all this. So Joe and I was driving, and so we get out the car because I see the postal man, and we get out the car, and I run up. You know, I don't run up to the postal man. You know, he's in the truck. I walk up there and I politely go to ask him, you know, excuse me, we need directions. He looked at me and then like drove off super fast. And at that point, Joe, I was like, you know what? That makes me very mad. We're not going to ask for directions anymore.
You know, I think
a bunch of other words.
I think that part of the problem is, and I think some of the other seasons of teams have said this, people look at you weird because they're like, Google it. They don't understand. You can't do it. So they're probably thinking, what are with these crazy people that want directions when all they have to do is, you know, Google Maps, people.
And they're younger and they should know more.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's part of the
Exactly.
problem with asking people for directions, is they're just
I
like,
think so.
yeah.
I think so. And then of course I'm walking up, I'm smiling, you know. So I don't know if that makes people
What's wrong with that kid? He's totally happy. But don't beat yourselves up. I mean, with the directions, I think, because you came to the show a little differently. A lot of people come to the show as fans of the show.
Yeah.
So they have a lot more background depth
Mhm.
that you guys didn't have. Plus the fact that they know, you know, they're used to driving.
Right.
So I think you did great.
I think you did great too. I mean, think about it. Deshay had her whole notebook last season.
Yes.
She had a whole notebook full
Whole
of
notebook.
thinking, do this and do that and don't do this. And this team did this. We want to do it differently. So they had really, really planned everything out. And so, you know, my advice is always make sure you know how to use a flip phone to take selfies and that you can text on one, right?
Yes.
Get yourself in shape for challenges as much as possible, because you never know if they're going to be mind games or physical games, right? Learn how to read a map.
Yes.
Yeah.
all those kind of things. So, but I think y'all did a wonderful job.
And you know, to kind of touch on the driving aspect, oh my gosh, you guys, I felt like I wasn't going to do a good job driving. I was so nervous on the highway. I was nervous. I was nervous. You did really well. But I can attest that you did amazing.
Yeah,
You guys did great.
you did.
Well,
Hang on,
your-
I think Mary had another question real quick, and then is that from last time?
Dan.
You did it again. Okay. Oh, and Dan's got one too. Sorry. Mary's
Can I
still
say
muted. Yeah, go ahead, and then Dan, and then if Mary
I
can
just
get
wanted to
unmuted.
say something because they were talking about driving.
Mhm.
As we would have our show after each episode, and every time you all would say, we haven't driven in a long time, or we don't drive, or something like that, we would get on here and we would talk about, oh, those poor boys that they haven't driven in a long time. Are they okay? Are they going to be okay? I think we would have gotten in the car and driven with you.
Yes.
We could have. We just wanted to take care of you. I have an extra room. You know, we just need to make sure you guys were okay.
It's true.
Dan, what were you going to follow up with?
Oh yeah, just kind of following up with Shelley's question. You guys had a lot of really emotional moments on the show. Like I think all of us, you know, at some point, at least once per episode, were brought to tears by you guys and your story, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure there were dozens of more moments that didn't make it onto the show. So my question is what's the moment that for you guys is on repeat in the movie in your mind as you reflect back on that experience? What's that moment for you guys that you guys just It's in your head. It will be in your head for the rest of your lives.
Love that. Great question.
I would say the very first moment that pops up in my head is when Anthony and I looked at our mom, Ruth, and said, and when Anthony said, I know you've been in that well for a very long time, and we've come here to take you out.
Mhm.
And just seeing the
Yep,
look
I
on
was
her
tearing
face.
up.
It was a mess. Thank you so much for saying that to her on
It ended
camera.
up being a mess.
Try. I'm getting misty thinking about that now.
No.
Bringing that up. Trying to be all manly on the show.
But that was a special. That was a very special.
That
Yeah.
was the best.
And it
Yeah.
was so beautiful because Anthony literally put to words exactly what I was thinking too, because I knew that our mom had hurts and years of it, and years of regret, and years of pain, and we were just seeing all this all at once, and we had to say something that could help alleviate that pain, you know, and something that came from our hearts, and that we had both agreed on, and because we didn't want to see her in that broken place that she was residing in. So he just put to words, you put to words exactly
Beautiful.
what we were both feeling. So
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful, that moment. That's one of those that I think that as they do the reels, you know, of past shows, I think that's always going to be one of those moments that they show, because that was just absolutely beautiful. Mary, you had a question?
Seems a little lame after that last answer.
Yeah, go ahead, Mary. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Hey.
Ask your question.
All right. So, did you guys do any kind of training? You know, watching old seasons or do anything just to get yourselves ready? No, just
we watched most of the older seasons. Yeah, I watched every episode of season 1 to. I didn't watch everyone, but I touched on season 1, and I watched 2, 3, 4, 5, and I watched a little bit of 6. But other than that, no. We tried to write things down, and you know, it got to the point where I was talking to Joe, and I was like, you know what, I can't compartmentalize every single thing and try to predict what's going to happen. I think the best thing for me to do is just, or for us to do, is just go through this thing and just be completely just open and honest, and just let it happen, let it ride, and whatever we don't know, it'll just work out as we go. You know what I'm saying? And not just worry about how else it's gonna work out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I was stressed over it for weeks, y'all, and I know Joe was too beforehand. Just, oh my God, we gotta write this down, because I tried to copy off Team Green, but it's last season. But it just, it was too much information.
Well, I know I'm not the only one, but several of us on the panel admitted to screaming at our televisions when you were not packed.
Yes,
Guilty.
yes.
What are you doing? Have your bags packed.
But then I'm the mother of 2 boys, and my oldest one is your age, so
You
I've been
understand.
projecting a little bit.
Well, let me tell you what was my, I'm not going to say favorite moment, but my most exciting moment is when you guys drove to Conway, South Carolina, because I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'm like, they're up the street. Producers, why didn't you tell me? The panel will tell you why that they didn't tell me.
She would have been on the
Oh, yeah.
curb.
I wouldn't have, but I was like, are you kidding me? They're just down the street. My daughter lives in Conway. I'm like, no. So for me, that was really quite fun. So, but didn't you start out from Columbia? I thought that's where you start out, but maybe I'm wrong. Where did y'all start the race from?
It was North Carolina. No, she's talking about where we were at. We started at Columbia.
Yeah. So were you living in Columbia, or did they just had you start from there?
We just started. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I couldn't figure that out either.
Yeah, because I was like, dudes, if you're in Columbia, we got to get together.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Bernice.
You know, because this was going on during the pandemic, how did you all stay safe? And then what about your relatives? Did they test everybody? Just how did that happen?
I'm pretty sure they tested. Yeah, they tested everybody. The producers had tested all of our relatives beforehand, and if we needed to stay within the 6 feet limit, that's what we did. Except for the times when we were obviously meeting and conversing and discussing. But I believe, yeah, they had tested everyone that we came in contact with, and there wasn't any issues that we know of. So. Yeah, they kept us really safe for the whole.
I'm sure they did.
And they made sure that any relative that didn't want to meet because of COVID didn't have to. And they also made sure that, that every relative that did meet with us, we made sure that they were okay with us not wearing a mask and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Bernice was screaming for masks through the whole show.
Wear the masks, wear the masks. Laura?
Yeah, that reminded me, did you find out of any relatives we didn't see on the show that maybe there were people that they'd figured out, but because of COVID or whatever, that you couldn't do the filming, but that they gave you contacts or information about other relatives?
I actually, for Anthony and I, we didn't have any relatives that was the situation. I honestly, I don't think that any of the teams had any COVID issues. I think except for maybe Team Red, I think they had a relative that was an older person and they were nervous about COVID, so they had him wear his mask.
I remember that, yeah. They did.
But
he was in a nursing home, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That
was her grandfather, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe
that,
so.
yeah.
Well, we could keep you guys on here all night, but we have to get off and we have to watch day 10. So we are so grateful to hear. But I'm going to ask one last question before we go. Is there anything that wasn't shown that you wish had been shown? Did they cut something that you wish that everybody could have seen?
That you're allowed to tell us about.
Yeah.
I wish y'all could have seen us interacting with our Aunt Bobby, with our mom afterwards,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We had to come and what y'all don't know is our Aunt Bobby had to go with our mom for that episode. So
Okay.
I wish y'all could have seen that interaction we had with her and our aunt and our mom. It was beautiful, and just that talk, man. That talk.
And a lot of questions answered, and just it was amazing. And yeah, it was amazing.
Well, as genealogists and family historians, we hope that you are writing everything down.
Oh, yeah.
That you are not relying on the show to help you remember everything that happened, because we know things get cut, and so we're hoping that you'll just sit back and take a day at a time and just write down every memory that you can think of, because if you don't, you'll lose it. You think you're always going to remember everything. I mean, those of us that are old enough, how many people, as we go through our high school yearbooks, to remember everybody that we thought we'd always remember?
No.
You look and you go, who are these people?
Who are these people? Yeah.
Right. So please journal, get together, do it. You could do it on an audio, or you can, film it, talking to each other to help, do memories. But I would really encourage you to really, really make sure that you capture everything that happened in all those moments.
And it doesn't have to be a perfect capture to share with the world. A capture for your benefit,
not from
no
us,
perfect grammar, no perfect looks.
Absolutely. But I would really encourage y'all to do that. I think it'd be something to look back on in the years ahead, and your children, when you have children, something for them to look at and understand your journey in a way that, we've watched it, but that's a more private thing to pass on to your family members. So I would really encourage you to do that. And maybe your family members that you met can do the same thing. Maybe they can journal their feelings of when they met you and send it to you. So that'd be awesome. So with that, we are going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. I know
Thank you.
you had to tweak your schedule, and so we're so grateful that you came on and you joined us. And with that, we are going to get ready to watch day 10, and we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.